outfit, his new clothing line showing off that you can get at Mervin's. And here's Felix Sturm, undefeated, 20-0, 9 knockouts. And he's taller than Oscar, I believe. We were talking about that.
Slightly taller. There you can see it. And that's unusual for De La Hoya to be looking up at an opponent.
Here's the rules they'll be fighting under tonight here at the MGM. De La Hoya. Now, can you believe he's 31 years old now? That's hard to believe. He once told me he wouldn't fight past 26. But, you know, when there's big paydays out there, it's hard to turn it down. Slight height advantage, as we were talking about, to Felix Sturm. And the reach advantage goes to Oscar De La Hoya. And here are the rules. The 3 judges will give 10 points on a must system, unified rules. No standing 8 count, and 3 knockdown rule is not in effect, which is important. Cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. And if there is an accidental foul, such as a headbutt, cut, anything like that, they have to go 4 rounds, and then they go 4 full rounds, and then they'll go to the scorecards. You're looking at the famous ring here at the MGM Grand Gardens Arena as we're waiting for the entrance of Felix Sturm from Germany. He was a 2000 Olympic representative and a 3-year pro, and he's talked about Oscar admiringly, to say the least.
Oh yeah, he admits that Oscar was his idol, and he'll be in there against his idol tonight, and that he says he won't be awed by that situation. But you know, you mentioned he was in the Olympics. He made it to the 3rd round. He lost a close decision to Jermaine Taylor, who has a fine undefeated professional career going right now. And as I talk to more and more people who would see a tape of him, and we showed some tape earlier tonight of Felix Sturm, they were almost surprised. They said, hey, you know, the guy can fight some. Hey, this guy's not as bad as I thought he would be, you know, and the guy has nice style in there, good jab, not a big punch, but he can get around the ring pretty good.
And I assumed, I made a mistake that Felix would come out first, forgetting that De La Hoya is not the champion. So De La Hoya is going to come. I just made the assumption that De La Hoya would always come out last. And Bernard Hopkins had a message for De La Hoya as he left the ring. He's going by the way. Says, there you go. 2 more. 2 more for the record for him, for his personal record in defenses. And confident man. They took care of business tonight. He's going to be watching Oscar and make sure he takes care of that, because he's got a lot of money. You know, he mentioned something interesting about not getting hurt, not hurting an ankle, not, you know, getting cut, having a no decision and that to deal with. You know, anything can happen in the ring.
That's a realistic way of looking at it. But Bernard's mature enough to know all the situations that can arise, and he mentioned in their sprained ankle, which of course was an allusion to his first fight with Robert Allen.
When he got shoved by Mills Lane, who's about 4'11", you know. Oh my goodness. Oscar De La Hoya, like I mentioned, and I had a conversation with him a 3 weeks ago, and I asked him, I said, are you nuts for getting yourself in a situation with Bernard Hopkins? And he says to me he's not crazy. He realizes he'll be an underdog, but it's a challenge that he wants to make. And, you know, of course, he could beat the guy who beat Felix Trinidad handle.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you bring that up. I was talking to Kevin Aioli, who's a very outstanding boxing writer here in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Review-Journal. And he interviewed Oscar one-on-one. And he said, Oscar asked him, he said, how do you think I'm going to do against Bernard Hopkins? And Kevin said, I think he's going to kill you. And Oscar, he said, burst out laughing when he told him that. So Oscar knows the situation, and he knows that just about everybody's going to be picking against him and picking Hopkins in that fight.
Always a lovely fight crowd on hand in Las Vegas.
Speaking of lovely, at the end of that Kevin Aioli interview with Oscar De La Hoya, Millie De La Hoya, Oscar's beautiful wife, was there too. And Oscar said, Millie, tell Kevin what I'm going to do to Bernard Hopkins. And she looked at him and she's going, you're going to rearrange his face.
Well, I got a great Hopkins quote for you about the Trinidad connection. Hopkins says, most people believe Oscar beat Trinidad, and I spanked his ass.
Well, he did. So there's no getting around that.
And he says 20 defenses is his goal in his career. He needs 2 more. And he says Hopkins says he won't fight after age 42. He's 39 now. So we shall see. And here comes Oscar De La Hoya, 7-time world champion.
Can we still call him Golden Boy? is he more like the older man, the mature man now?
He told me he wasn't going to fight after age 26 or 27.
Yeah, he keeps moving that date back.
Yeah. Well, he's so popular. And people love to see him fight. He's lost.
Well, he greeted by mariachi as usual.
Oscar De La Hoya, his story is well known, the gold medalist, hence the Golden Boy in 1992. And I have to wonder about his motivation for this fight, knowing it's a tune-up fight for the big payday in September. He says he's ready. He says he won't take anything for granted. And the big unknown is Felix Sturm. We don't know what this guy has. He's probably an accomplished, polished European-style boxer who happens to hold a title, happens to be undefeated. But it's a different ballgame when you come to America.
As you can see, Oscar is serious. I did a fight here, a telecast of the last fight when Oscar was goofing around on the way in. He fought an Italian by the name of Giorgio Campanella, and Oscar was waving to his fans and smiling and laughing on the way in. And in the first round, Campanella landed a left hook, and Oscar ended up on his butt. And he said, "That's it. I wasn't ready for that first round action."
I saw that fight too, and a lot of people went, "Whoops," because there was so much riding on the young man's career to get knocked down by Campanella or knocked out. Would have been a disaster.
Here comes Felix Sturm, obviously happy to be in this situation. Be fighting, getting a lot of exposure and a lot of money. So the referee will be Vic Draculich.
Yeah, I just saw Vic stick his head in. Let's go to Michael Buffer now for the announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO World Middleweight Championship. Brought to you in association with Golden Boy Promotions and sponsored by your king of beers, Budweiser. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman John Bailey, Executive Director Mark Ratner. The three judges at ringside scoring this bout will be Mike Gliena, Dave Moretti, and Paul Smith. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Vic Draculich. And now, one more time for the thousands in attendance here at the MGM Grand and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white and his official weight, 160 pounds. Since capturing Olympic gold in 1992, he has won 6 world titles in 5 divisions, and his professional record stands at 36 victories, including 29 by knockout, with only 3 defeats. And he has consistently been rated among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world during his career. Tonight he makes the move to the middleweight division, looking for another world title. Ladies and gentlemen, the former lightweight champion of the world, former junior lightweight champion of the world, former super lightweight champion of the world, 2-time world welterweight champion and super welterweight champion of the world, the pride of East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, trimmed with red. He officially weighed in at 160 pounds, and his professional record is a perfect one, consisting of 20 bouts, 20 victories, including 9 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of Hamburg, Germany, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO World Middleweight Champion, Felix Sturm.
He looks anxious and ready to go.
And this is
all right,
his
gentlemen.
natural
This is for the
fighting weight,
WBO
too.
middleweight title. You've received your instructions in the dressing room. Again, I want to caution you. Any punch below this point, going to be called low. Any punch below this point, going to be called low. With that said, obey my commands. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
Right. Oscar De La Hoya no longer looks skyward during the instructions.
In honor of his mother, Cecilia.
You know, you look at Oscar's body at 160 pounds, he definitely looks thicker than what we used to remember him as.
It's hard to believe he started at 130, huh? And he always complained to me about having to make that weight. I'd go to his training camp and he'd have a piece of bread there, white bread, and he'd say, that's my treat, that's my dessert. I get to eat one piece of bread. So it was really hard for him at 130. But, you know, it's a test here, a little tune-up against a guy who's a natural 160. Oscar comes out firing against Felix Sturm. Oscar in the white trunks. Looks like he wants to make quick work. Maybe he's still frustrated about that Mosley decision. He just wants to go into the body. Good body shots from Oscar. Put on a show.
We've already seen more action than we did in 12 rounds with Hopkins and Allen.
Well, Oscar apparently doesn't go by that Hopkins theory of being careful. Sturm firing jabs. Said he would have no respect for Oscar in the ring tonight, so Oscar will make him earn that respect. Says all of Oscar's tape, Sturm says. He watched him in Germany. He was born to Bosnian parents in Germany.
De La Hoya working almost exclusively to the body so far in the early moments of this bout.
Good uppercut from Oscar De La Hoya. Another uppercut. As we all know, his famous, most lethal weapon is that left hook that he landed on Fernando Vargas. But as Floyd Mayweather Sr. has been working with Oscar, he calls him a Blaxican, a combination of a black Mexican fighter. And he wanted him to develop some of the movement that his famous son, Floyd Jr. has, and also develop a right hand. Now, we saw the right hand in the controversial decision loss to Mosley, and it's been an effective weapon. And people may not realize Oscar's basically ambidextrous. He can fight the other way, and he plays golf left-handed. So he's got power in both hands, but his left hook is extremely effective, and he's digging.
Man, I tell you, he has really landed some hellacious body.
Good right hand, too, right there.
And Sturm gets one in that kind of turns De La Hoya around.
De La Hoya's got his head out there. He just got it. The jab's good. Felix Sturm's jab is good.
Yeah, he's got a fine jab. It's nice and quick and it's long, but he's got to do it more. He's got to utilize it more. He's standing too close to De La Hoya without doing anything. He needs distance and he needs to jab. He's letting Oscar walk in unattended to.
Oscar seemed intent on making this quick work tonight. Now, I told you I expected Felix Sturm to be your typical European fighter. They're classic boxers, good jabs, rather upright. That's why you have to improvise against these guys, and Oscar showing different angles. And I think he has better movement, Oscar does, since Floyd took over as his trainer.
Well, upper body movement.
Yeah, upper body movement. You know, he had good lower body movement and good stylistic points against Felix Trinidad in that controversial loss.
There's the left by Sturm.
He's covering up pretty good, and he's got a good jab. Yeah. And Oscar's peppering him back with his jab. You got to be active against Oscar.
Yeah.
He's ready to fight tonight.
Sturm looks like he can be competitive if he stays busy.
Oscar laying the wood to him. Sturm having fun.
Sturm was very happy to show De La Hoya he could take his punches there at the end.
Crazy right in front of us.
You have to use your legs more.
Easy hard.
And Rick Corrado will be interpreting Floyd Mayweather Sr. for us.
That is a funny guy, let me tell
love
you.
that guy.
I did a radio show. I do a radio show in Los Angeles, and Floyd came on this week, and he had all prepared, committed to memory that must have been 10 minutes long about this fight. Very funny.
You think Oscar's being a little careless, Rich?
Well, I think it was so easy for him in the beginning that he did start to get a little careless, and Sturm nailed him with a couple of shots, but it became very interesting that last minute. Felix Sturm looks surprisingly confident in there.
He's got a good jab, I'm telling you. I think Oscar, those hands, he's carrying his hands so high, he had the right idea when he was going to the body early. Oscar's very effective when he chops you down from the body. But Sturm carries his hand, like I said, it's classic style. He didn't get to be 20-0 for nothing. He's a national hero in Germany, getting this shot. A European amateur champion, twice German amateur champion. As you mentioned, had an Olympic run, lost to a good fighter. First time in America. Last fight out, he fought a Spaniard in Kiel, Georgia, in Europe. And dominated the fight against Ruben Barone.
De La Hoya has really committed to a body attack in this fight.
That's what I thought he should do. Because look how high the hands are.
Sturm is pushing De La Hoya back. He's moving forward. He's making De La Hoya give ground. De La Hoya is getting tagged with the jab tonight.
Sturm going to the left hook. Tripled up on his jab, but Oscar's got a jab too. I was mentioning the entourage over here. There's about 12, 15 people from Germany that are with Felix in suits, very well dressed for the fight, and they were going nuts after that first round. They liked seeing Felix smile and say, yeah, I can take it.
And he's landing some of his own in this round, too.
Yes, he is. Oscar best be in good shape for this fight. He has trouble getting up for lesser known fighters.
Again, fighting a bigger man, taller than he'll find that situation. He'll fight a bigger, taller, stronger man when he fights Bernard Hopkins. That's assuming a win here tonight.
This doesn't look like it's going to be easy, Rich.
No, it's competitive through 2 rounds. No question. Sturm, as I mentioned, better than people think.
Some people had made the observation they thought that as Oscar went up to 154 and all the way up now to 160, he'd lost some sting on his punches, which oftentimes happens when he's up there. Can't dominate like he did people at 147. Sturm's got good defense. He just got hit with an uppercut. Oscar trying to steal the round right here at the end. And that's going to be the end of round 2.
Time!
Bernard Hopkins in his dressing room after his easy victory over Robert Allen, taking in the bout now.
He's not even looking. He knows he's on camera. Look how cool he is. He doesn't even say hi or nothing. Now that's cool, Rich, when you don't look at the camera. Yeah, he knows he's on camera. He knows that camera's there.
You control everyone.
That's what Floyd's got to say.
Take a round off in this box, okay? Let's take a round off, make it mess, okay? But right now,
Wow.
Take a round
you got
off.
to move your head.
Your jabs are coming very good. You have to be quicker. Move your legs more. It's working very good.
Very rare that a trainer would say after only 2 rounds to a fighter to take the round off, but I think he wants Oscar to find his boxing legs. Oscar's been flat-footed in the fight and hasn't had a lot of what you would think of as the usual De La Hoya kind of rhythm. And he may start looking for that now in this round. See if he gets up on his toes, uses that jab.
Well, he's not taking the round off so far. Round 3.
Now De La Hoya looking to jab in this round, which he has not been doing so far. He's been walking.
Good right hand. I've noticed that fighters have a tendency sometimes not to do what their trainers ask them to do.
Well, Oscar may be wound up and just thinking to himself, I don't want to take a round.
Of course, the one most famous for that of all time is Muhammad Ali. He had his own mind about how he was going to fight a fight. I don't think he made up his mind until he got in the ring. Once again to the ribs. They want Sturm to be quicker and get off more punishment.
Now De La Hoya trying to show Sturm he can jab with him. And maybe even out jab him.
Oh, good body shot. felt it over here. You know, another thing about Oscar, he's been burned a couple of times here in Las Vegas, Evilise, by decisions. I know that he was burned with the Trinidad decision, maybe the Mosley decision. He doesn't, he's learned his lesson. He wants to take care of business in the ring. Sturm's just covering up, letting him hit him in the body. Hard to get through that defense. There's an uppercut Oscar tried. Oh, good head movement from Oscar. He missed over the top.
Felix Sturm is quick-handed. And I think Oscar, at times, is surprised a little bit by his speed. See those little short punches he lands come very, very quick. And Sturm, I'm surprised, is willing to get close here. He feels he can land those little quick ones in close. He might, you know, as I watch the fight unfold, I think that maybe he'd be better off fighting at long range, just flipping out that jab as he did there. But he feels good when they're close. It looks like, because he can get off quick punches.
Watching these body blows remind me of a young fighter we saw here at the ring tonight, Miguel Cotto from Puerto Rico, who won 2 or 3 fights just by body shots. I don't know if Oscar can take this guy down. He's in terrific shape. Body shots, but they'll have their effect. Every time Sturm lands a little jab, his entourage goes nuts over here. But he hasn't really had a big punch yet. We're in round 3 from Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. We call it the home of champions. You see those marks down on the rib cage now, Rich, where Oscar's been pounding away.
This is the most committed I think I've ever seen De La Hoya to a body attack in a fight.
And it only makes sense given what he's faced here. Sturm just made him miss.
And Sturm has been competitive in every round, but does he ever do enough to win a round? That's the question.
Well, he's holding his hand up in the air like he's done something. Let's see if that was around. I got a feeling Oscar's got his head out there a little bit, though, Rich. I mean, I don't want to listen in, but
Give me water.
He can
Give me
get
water. Give me water. Give me water. Water. Come on.
What's on that protector if you guys will?
All right. Come on. Come on. Us.
Like in the gym.
Move in the gym, man. Control the guy. You measure.
All right, let's take a look at some of the action now in round 3. Sturm coming for, there's that nice jab. You see he's bloodied the nose of De La Hoya in this fight. De La Hoya tried to answer back with jabs, but nice sharp little right hand by Sturm in close. That's what I was talking about, those quick punches in close that he can land. Interesting round.
And it begs the question as this fight goes on. We're not quite there yet, but if Oscar can't handle this guy with no reputation, imagine what it's like getting ready for Hopkins. Oscar's doing what he wants to do, apparently, from what he's hearing in his corner.
You know, I think De La Hoya is winning every round, but barely. You know, because I think Sturm is in every round. He lands some punches every round, but I think Oscar gets a slight edge in each round.
Sturm's not intimidated, that's for sure.
Stop a second. Let me get this real quick.
Oh, Oscar had something hanging out of his pants in the back, and Dracula's just stuck it down the crack there, and everything's fine. Sturm's been throwing the jab, and he had a quick right on the inside, but he hasn't backed off and found a range that Rich was talking about. Oscar just landed a good head punch to the head. Oscar going to the body.
Sturm looks like he's going to be trouble for De La Hoya tonight.
I really do think so. I felt it in the first
Watch your
round.
shoulder.
This is going to be a problem.
That's a great jab he's got.
Yes, it is.
It is quick, it is long, it is stiff. Very sharp, very accurate.
Both fighters with great amateur records. Sturm tried to triple up on that jab. The problem is he doesn't have a right to follow it up with it. I just think that Oscar's head's out there for the jab.
Now Felix Sturm will need to vary his attack a little bit more than just a jab. He can't beat De La Hoya on a jab alone.
Blood on the white trunks of Oscar De La Hoya from the drip from his nose.
He might be able to win a round with the jab all alone, and I think he's doing it in this round. But there he finally got a little bit of a hook there.
40 seconds left in round 4, scheduled for 12. Middleweight division. A lot riding on this fight for this town and for Bernard Hopkins.
Warning to stop throwing him off with his shoulder.
Oscar just ate another jab. He's getting peppered. Of course, the best counter for a jab is a right hook. Oscar hears the ball and goes at it. Oh, big hard punches inside. Oscar stealing the round perhaps in the last part. He got pumped up there, didn't he? Crowd loves it.
Let me see your face. Use your jabs in the middle. You did good so far. But you have to be faster. Use your jabs. Keep them coming. He will show.
All right, we take a look at the action. Good little left hook inside by Felix Sturm. Then he drives De La Hoya back with another jab. He's been able to back him up at times. But De La Hoya heard that 10-second warning and decided, I'm going to close the round strong, see if I can't get the round back. Be interesting to see what the judges think about that one.
Come on. When you jab, all right, guys, okay? All right, let's go.
Everybody wants everybody to throw jabs. Not got that much out of it. I think Oscar just wants to go fight. There's a guy with a movie star looks, but make no mistake about it, Oscar De La Hoya has always been a warrior.
Well, Felix Sturm probably isn't too bad in the looks department either, and he's proving to be a tougher man in the ring than many would have expected. You know, American fight fans are very slow to accept fans, boxers who come from other countries. The Costa Zoos and the Klitschkos. I mean, it takes a lot to win over the American fans. And so Felix Sturm, when he came here, I think people are just saying, oh, he's just some German pastry, you know, but that's definitely not the case.
Good right hand from De La Hoya, gets the crowd excited. Oscar's defense is a little better now. He's keeping his gloves up a little higher. There's that flipping jab. Sturm, they told him they needed to be a little bit quicker. He's a good boxer. There's no, I expected him to be. I've seen many come out of Europe that are just have great skills, great defense. They're classic boxers. There's just a little extra that they don't have, which is creativity. They tend to be more mechanical. Now you take a fighter from, say, the Philippines, and it's all style. They just throw, like Manny Pacquiao.
Felix Sturm is doing a nice job here.
He sure is.
De La Hoya's going to have to be a little creative. And he's going to have to figure out some way. You know, it was so easy for Oscar in the first half of the first round. It looked like it was going to maybe be a 1 or 2 round KO.
Hey, Sturm's got a little flash to him, too. See him raise his glove in the air there. Oscar's jab is good, too, if he throws it. Boy, listen to throw it. He landed a good jab and followed up with a little combination in there. Oscar gives him the shoulder, and Sturm gives him the glove to the nose. Close fight so far.
And I would say what Felix Sturm said, that he would absolutely not be awed by the event and fighting his idol and fighting in front of 15,000 De La Hoya fans. I think all of that turned out to be true.
Very cool customers. He didn't just start doing this, though. He's got a great resume. Crowd saying, Oscar, man, see if that pumps up the former champion.
tell you, if Sturm was a puncher, De La Hoya might have visited the canvas on that one. That was a clean, crisp, tremendous shot.
He just won the round in that shot. He may have won 3 of the 5 rounds at least. He's got some difficulties on his hands tonight.
Now move your head.
You got to move your head, Oscar. Watch it, like that. Cut right here.
Breathe. Deep breath.
Breathe in deep.
Come on. Okay.
That's slow. Again. What you got to do, man, this guy's, you hurting this guy, man. This guy's backing up. He's running now.
All right, let's take a look at some of the action now in round 5. Here comes Sturm near the end of the round. Little fake to the right, and there's that left hook. Very quick by Sturm. Sturm was excited about it.
He's a cool customer. We're going to round 6. Anxious folks in this town right now.
And I'm telling you who the most anxious is. You know who that is. Bernard Hopkins.
Yes. He's back there wanting to come in and help. Watching back in the catacombs of the MGM Grand.
I have De La Hoya leading in this fight, but by a point, 48-47.
Sturm's got some confidence now. It's coming forward behind the jab. Oscar jabbing back. Sturm has 9 knockouts in his 20 wins over in Europe. He has no losses.
Go, come on. Watch that shoulder. Sit out.
He really had a sparkling amateur record, 113-9.
He's a good fighter. Oscar said he was focused on Sturm. We'll find out. Sturm missing there. Trying to fell in love with that left hook after he landed one. Floyd Sr. was telling De La Hoya to keep that head movement.
That's good advice. Oscar had in the last round had his head stationary. You can't block everything with the gloves or even that shoulder. You need some upper body movement. De La Hoya really looks thick through that upper body.
Completely different body type coming in here. Crowd chanting Oscar, Oscar. Round 6. De La Hoya, champion in 5 different weight divisions. Now at 160, facing a very polished, talented fighter from Germany, Felix Sturm. I wondered what this guy would bring in here. I was impressed right from the get-go. Inside a minute now, round 6. Good uppercut from Sturm. Oscar loosening his hands, trying to loosen his hands up.
Yeah, because I don't think he's found his rhythm yet. It's kind of a sporadic type attack from De La Hoya.
Well, he should know by now what he's in against. He's against a guy who's got good defense and a good jab. He's got to get creative. He's tried the body. He's gotten away from that. Sturm flicking that jab out there and putting a corkscrew on it. Final 10 seconds, round 6. Sturm backing off. Let the bell ring here. Now Sturm's up on his toes.
He's very fluid. He's an athlete in there, Felix Sturm. He's not smiling now.
Well, he might be smiling, hoping that Oscar wins this fight because he's got to feel like he can, well, you know he'll feel like he can dominate.
All right, we take a look at action from round 6. De La Hoya getting hit with a little right hand and then actually blocking that right uppercut that came in from Sturm. And as De La Hoya moved his head, I think the crowd thought that the punch shoved his head back, but I think he got most of that on the glove.
You know, you think about coming in tonight, I really can't hear in the corner, but
Up and down with
You
his
think that
head.
De La Hoya would have had the easier of the two opponents, not knowing anything about this guy, than Robert Allen was to Bernard Hopkins. But he's got real troubles right now. This is round 7. De La Hoya in the white trunks, Felix Sturm from Germany in the black trunks with the red trim. Did I say round 7? Yes, I did.
Yes, that's just what it is.
De La Hoya is going to go to attack, try to attack the hip now. Good right hand. I didn't see a lot of that right hand earlier in his career, but he's really trying to use it as an effective weapon.
Well, one of the things when he went to Floyd Mayweather was to try to develop into more of a two-handed fighter.
Still landing that jab. Sturm's a cool customer.
Frank, watch those heads, guys. Keep back.
Sturm's got confidence, has to be building every round. He's in there against a world-renowned, one of the most famous boxers ever, and he's in there round 7 with a chance to win this fight.
Yes, I still have De La Hoya ahead, but I agree with you that Sturm does have a chance to win the fight.
Well, De La Hoya needs more of that. He needs to get his rhythm and get some combinations. He's getting very stiff. Of course, that has to do with the fact he keeps eating the leather in that jab. Sturm's running on the right
Watch
hand.
your shoulder.
De La Hoya, this shoulder technique is right out of the Mayweather playbook.
Not as much movement from Oscar at 160 now. Been flat-footed most of the fight.
After you have to wonder about his conditioning. Was he up for this?
Haven't seen much of that bounce around the ring from Oscar tonight.
No. The bounce looked so good against Trinidad. At times against Mosley the second time around. You're talking about a fighter here that's really only been handled once. That was the first fight against Sugar Shane Mosley at Stevenson in Los Angeles, fighting an unknown German who is an athlete, as Rich said. He's a fine athlete, an accomplished boxer. But this is the kind of guy that would put him in with the for good sparring sessions at this weight. You know, that type of skill boxing, you know. This is round 7. It's been a fast fight, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Moving along because everybody's anxious to see something happen.
The rounds are all pretty interesting.
Oscar still peering in, looking right at the chest. Felix Sturm. Felix Sturm was been backing away in the final seconds of his round. Crowd reacted to a punch that wasn't all that effective.
Yeah, but you know something? At times tonight, Oscar De La Hoya is being out quick by a fighter. And, you know, only in the first fight with Felix Trinidad do I mean, with Shane Mosley, do I ever remember him being out quick.
Don't get discouraged, man. Relax.
Can't move.
8th round coming up. 8th round.
Again. Again. What you need to do is here. You're throwing a jab, you won't pick it off. What you gotta do, man, stay close to the guy, run your punches off, and grab him. Do it 3 times in the fight.
You have to use your left hook more. Did you notice he is getting slower? You're seeing the results now of all your work.
There's Joel. Well, that's not on that screen. Anyway, I was looking at another screen. I saw Joel De La Hoya, Oscar's father, looking like.
Well, you can see him in the second row right between the two fighters.
Yeah, that's right. Got to be a lot of concern from Papa.
I gave that last round to Felix Sturm. I have him trailing De La Hoya by 1 point.
Great combination from Oscar. He's got a good stationary target there. That's a good combination inside.
But did you hear what he said to Floyd Mayweather after the last round? Because I can't move. And that's what we alluded to. Not really up on his toes. Very flat-footed, stationary.
He's getting hit a lot.
Break!
I think it's the weight. Does he not feel as effective?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, He's never fought this heavy before. 160 pounds. Perhaps he feels a little sluggish. He's still quick-handed, Oscar.
He always had great quickness. I don't sense that the Sturm's corner was happening, that he was slowing down all that much. I think they hope he's slowing down. With the right hand, it almost did some damage there. They want Sturm to throw the right hand and the left hook. Really the left hook more. I sense these people felt like Sturm was ready to make his debut in America, and he couldn't have come out against a more storied opponent. Oscar trying to will himself into some better movement, and Sturm won't take the bait. Sturm won't come in. He wants to land. You know what? He reminds me of a guy who's in an amateur fight trying to pile up points with effective punches. Sturm's pretty quick.
Yes, he is. That left jab is very nice. Turns it over real good. Very quick, long.
Puts a little corkscrew on the end of it. He's throwing more punches from De La Hoya. He sensed some frustration in the corner.
Oscar doggedly keeps moving in.
He's trying to take the fight to Sturm. Sturm won't take the fight. Like I said, he reminds me of an amateur, polished amateur who wants to land good jabs and rack up points. I don't know if that's how they score here in Vegas.
It was a little too slow. You have to keep up the pressure. But be careful, keep your hands up. We only have 4 rounds left. Keep your hands up and be careful with his counters. Be careful when he comes back at you.
Tie him up, all right? Run him off, tie him up, okay?
No me puedo mover. La espalda.
Whenever you put your hand on it.
Once again, Oscar's saying, I can't move. That's what he said in Spanish.
Deep breath.
Deep breath.
He's frustrated and
No,
worried.
take a big one.
Huh?
Big one, take a deep one.
Okay, seconds out. Okay, go ahead and move that.
Floyd wants him to tie Sturm up, put his body on it. He hasn't done it all night. Maybe if he ties him up, maybe we can get him off the clinch, you know? Round 9. Oscar still trying to find an answer for this guy. But is Sturm doing enough, Rich? That's my question.
Well, if he's not done enough, he's awfully close.
Yeah.
I see this as a very close fight entering the final rounds here. And I think either man can still win this fight. That's how close it is.
I like Oscar's jab too, Rick. He just doesn't go to it enough. He's impatient, frustrated a little bit.
Well, you know, when Oscar came out, think back to the first round. I mean, it looked very flashy and it was exciting. He came out with those body attack, 2-handed hooks to the body. But that's not his normal way of getting into a fight. He wasn't up on his toes. He wasn't landing the jab. And Sturm was able to survive all of that and actually, when it came to the boxing part, he's outboxing Oscar.
He is right now. He really believes in that jab. He must throw $1 billion over the gym. Oscar able to pick off that left hook. Trying to get his shoulders loose or something. Trying to get his whole body loose. It's going to be quite a test for Oscar, who, as we've known in his career, in the late rounds is where he's lost fights. I don't think he wanted to go this far, but he has no choice. Sturm, in the last couple of rounds, has done what Dick Ryder was wanting to do earlier, is keep his range. Good right hand. Oscar drops his arms for a minute.
See out there in the center of the ring when he's throwing that jab, Sturm can control the action. Just like that.
Oscar's shoulder's hurting something. He keeps flicking that shoulder, trying to loosen it up. Well, he's had shoulder problems in his career. He's just going to have to let it go. Sturm keeps throwing that jab.
De La Hoya trying to be heavy-handed with those punches to the body.
Tough fight. Oscar getting busy in the final 20 seconds here, round 9.
De La Hoya has not landed real clean shots to the head. His best punches have been to the body. I mean, some really heavy blows to the body.
Sturm's going to live with that jab or die by it. Oscar's still trying to get some movement.
Hey! Where's that? Where's the mouthpiece? In the bucket. Give me the mouthpiece, Joe. It's in the bucket. Okay.
You didn't get a fight with a mouthpiece?
Wonder what Bernard Hopkins is thinking about right now.
Just off to survive. That's all he's doing.
Breathe in deep. I was taking a deep breath.
Está ganando. ¿Ah? Está ganando. ¿Está ganando?
I don't care what you get. Try and make yourself move. You gotta try to make yourself move. And when you measure, drop the right hand and keep trying to look over the grab this shot here, you know.
De La Hoya said to Floyd Mayweather, I think he's beating me.
All you gotta do is throw the combination, tie him up.
He actually may have said that to his brother.
Okay, guys, settle down.
Good.
And that's almost with a sense of disbelief. It almost seemed like he said that.
How interesting. Not the way they wrote it in Hollywood tonight, folks. Round 10. Oscar's going out with bad intentions. Well, that's more about what he needs to do. He needs to impose himself. If he is a better fighter, he needs to go prove it. Sturm's going to counter with jabs. Oscar knows that. And that was a very good opening 10 seconds to this round for Oscar. Keep him moving back.
Can De La Hoya fight for a full 3 minutes in a late round at the age of 31?
With 160 pounds.
Break! Break clean. Let's go. Break clean.
Well, I think he's going to have to. He wants to win this fight and not suffer a big embarrassment.
Felix Sturm is trying to register one of the, I'd have to say, one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. He's possibly got a chance to do it here, depending upon how the judges are seeing it. You never know.
You never know, and that's the point. Anybody knows that better than Oscar. Now he's backing off, getting the jab, eating the jab. If he steps inside the range and does what he did the first part of the round, he's fine. But as Rich said, does he have the stamina? Sturm just got hit, but he backed out of it. I mentioned mechanical and robotic. That's what I find in a lot of European fighters who come out and they stick with their game plan. If they got a good jab, which they work on like Sturm does, you don't see him varying from his attack very much. He might throw a hook or two in there, but he's just a straight-in fighter. De La Hoya's having trouble with him. He loves that jab.
Well, he's like a mechanic with it. I mean, it's like a piston going out there. De La Hoya tried
right hand over the top of De La Hoya.
He was trying to hold him off and measure him for a right, and then he hit it.
Break it up, guys. Come on.
Another good right from De La Hoya. Jeez, bring that, Oscar. He keeps eating that jab. It's hard to jab your way to a win, but Sturm's doing a hell of a job with it. The point of the jab is to set other things up. Sturm's taking 2 hard punches this round. Now he's getting tagged. The German's not going to go easy.
De La Hoya's a warrior. We've seen that before.
Break it up.
We saw it in the fight with Ike Quartet. We saw it in the first fight with Shane Mosley when he didn't have much left in that 12th round, but he still fought toe-to-toe. He saw him out-will Fernando Vargas in their great showdown. He's got warrior instincts.
He's going to need him. He just got tagged and his head's been snapped back constantly by that jab. Well, he won that round. Oscar won that round.
The fight. He skips in the other words.
You got 6 minutes, man. That's it. 6 minutes. Let 6 minutes. Take it off. Take the fight over right now.
Give me a rag.
Right.
I just got to glance at some punch stats, Rich.
Smart boxing, huh? Come on.
Very one-sided in favor of Sturm.
No
Smart boxing.
Put some water on his head. I don't have no medicine.
Body's paid off.
All right, let's take a look. This is our overhead camera now, so you can see it. And you can see even when De La Hoya lands a good one, Sturm answers back. He's very confident. There's the right hand, but look, Sturm's going to come right back with his own counter. Not going to let Oscar just get away with a flashy punch that the judges will be impressed with.
Round 11. Undefeated German, Felix Sturm, impressing a lot of people in Las Vegas. Frustrated Oscar De La Hoya. Going to have to call upon his warrior instincts tonight to pull this fight out. A warning from Vic Draculins to keep the punches up.
Now Sturm into a southpaw. Saying, well, you wanted him to get creative, Alan.
He sure did. He's in a southpaw stance, and Oscar's eating him up with it. He might want to go back the other way. I don't know why he got so creative, and his left jab was the thing. Look at him go now. Oscar trying to do some damage. Sturm countering. Sturm thrown to the body for the first time. I think the fight's on. 11th round.
I just don't know why Felix Sturm is doing this. This seems silly to me.
Well, I said get creative. I didn't say get stupid.
I mean, things are going pretty well for him out there.
Right. Let's go. Right, guys.
Although maybe he thought Oscar won that last round, let me change it up. You remember Shane Mosley in their first fight changed it up. You guys did during the course of the fight and showed Oscar a southpaw look.
Come on, keep those punches up.
And that seemed to help Shane.
And you know that Sturm has seen those tapes. And he is a southpaw stance right now. Oscar trying to land the big hard punches. Sturm keep coming and flicking that jab like a piston. That's the best looking jab I've seen in a long time. No doubt about it.
Now he's even showing a pretty good right jab.
You know, Larry Holmes had a pretty good jab, too. Yeah, it is the right jab. Under a minute, round 11. Who's got the stamina? Who's got the heart?
This is most unexpected.
No doubt about it.
That's the understatement of the night.
The biggest surprise person in this building was Oscar. The most worried person is Bernard Hopkins. Good combination from Oscar. Sturm's taking all he can throw tonight, though. Always a big concern when you move up in weight. Is your power there? Is your effectiveness there? Is your quickness there? 20 seconds, round 11. Oscar throwing big punches. To his credit, Oscar's handled whatever Sturm's thrown out there. Oscar can take punches. We've seen that before. Final seconds, Sturm is running. Sturm's running away in the final seconds. He doesn't want to let Oscar win in the rounds. He's been looking the last 10 seconds of every round.
Final instructions from the corners.
Last final round.
Smart.
Last final round. Last final round. Yeah. This last round, I want you to do just like I told you. Run your combination.
Final round. Cut him up middle of the ring. Good job. Okay, thank you.
Run the combination of us, time up, okay? Run them off, time up. That's all you got to do.
do it with the speed. Let him come, let him give all he has, and then you counter right away. And this is the last round. You almost have it. One round. And your dream comes true.
Well, it's fish or cut bait time, isn't it? If people don't know what that means this is an important round.
Look at Felix Sturm. He seems excited about the whole deal.
He feels like Rocky tonight. He's gone the distance. Maybe. One round left.
He may be doing more than that.
De La Hoya extremely worried.
Maybe he's winning.
He may be winning. If you went by punch stats, he's definitely winning. But
I think it's a close fight, Alan.
I do too. I think Oscar needs this round. Good right hand from Sturm. Good counter from Oscar. Good right hand from Oscar. Now they're throwing. Oscar trying to do some damage, throwing combinations to the head. Sturm. You didn't hurt me, which usually means he got hurt. Oscar knows he's got to win this round. Sturm covering up. Sturm missing with the jab for the first time tonight. Oscar must have faced 400 jabs tonight. What an interesting decision. Yes. It goes up far.
Oscar De La Hoya has been involved in a number of close decisions in his career here in Las Vegas. Some he won, like Ike Corte and Pernell Whitaker. Some he lost, like Felix Trinidad, Shane Mosley. Those have all been close fights, a point or two deciding them each way. And I have a feeling that when Felix Sturm goes back to his corner, he might think he won, and De La Hoya may think he won when he goes back to the corner. And it might be another one of those close controversies.
A minute 15 left. Oscar trying to throw combinations. Crowd loving it. Sturm says, bring it, and Oscar does.
De La Hoya trying to close the show the way that he did against Ike Corte.
Sturm said, that doesn't hurt me. This is the way Oscar should have fought the whole night. Just bring it.
Oscar just got rocked with a
got buckled by a left. Oscar breathing out of his mouth, trying to gather himself. Sturm continued to bore in, fighting left-handed. Why, I don't know. Sturm went left-handed on us, just what I was saying, how uncreative they could be. 26 seconds. Who won this round? Big effective punches from Sturm.
Felix Sturm came to America this week and said, I'm not coming here to collect a check. I'm coming here to win.
He's running now at the end of the round.
Did he pull it off?
Yeah, he ran at the end of every round. I don't think that's going to go his way.
Bernard Hopkins doesn't know what to think.
Neither do we.
Whichever way it goes, the fight itself has to be classified as a shocker. Felix Sturm is very confident that he won this fight.
It could be one of the biggest upsets in the history of boxing. Could be watching it, and then if it, we'll speculate later after we get the decision about what might happen, but I'd have to think that if I was Bernard Hopkins and I saw Oscar tonight, I wouldn't be worried too much about September. Because this is not an impressive showing. Of course, styles make fights.
All right, let's take a look at this fight as it evolved. Round one, De La Hoya came out, and I mean, he came out loaded for bear. He just went to work. Body punches, head punches. Oscar came out very strong round one, had a very good round one. Round four, Oscar staying in long range here, mixing up his punches, still looking pretty good, but Sturm beginning to get into the fight. By round 11, it was anybody's fight. De La Hoya trying hard to still work to the body. He had committed to a body attack early, and then in the 12th round, they just mixed it up. It was exciting. Look at the fans in the background, all on their feet. Now we await the decision. who took this decision. As Felix Sturm, a 10-1 underdog, pulled off one of boxing's biggest upsets, or has Oscar De La Hoya squeezed by and moved on to a September 18th fight with Bernard Hopkins? In any event, it was a difficult night for Oscar De La Hoya.
Let's go to Michael Buffer. Here it is, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. All three judges, Mike Liena, Dave Moretti, and Paul Smith, scored the bout 115 to 113 for the winner by unanimous decision and new WBO middleweight champion of the world, the pride of East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
That is one relieved young man right there, and that father, and Bernard Hopkins must be kissing the ground right now somewhere in the building. I noticed the Europeans, they cannot believe the decision, but you know what? The reason they can't believe it is because, according to where they fight over there, with racking up points on punch stats, good jabs, you win rounds. Here, the judges had it by the narrowest decisions, 115-113. Probably gave a little more credit to the local guy, Oscar De La Hoya, because I think Oscar, in more occasions than the challenger, pressed the issue. I didn't like the way for the last 4 or 5 rounds, Sturm was running away in the final 10 seconds to make sure that he didn't get hit.
Sturm is lined up on the ropes. De La Hoya does not look happy, though. He doesn't even look relieved. De La Hoya, Oscar looks disappointed to me. He won the fight 7 rounds to 5 on all 3 judges' cards, in much the same way that he lost to Shane Mosley 7 rounds to 5 on all 3 scorecards. It was very, very close. We kept saying that throughout the fight. It was very close.
Let me ask you something. Do you think he has enough for Hopkins based on what we saw here? I would say that Hopkins would, as some people are expecting, destroy him.
It just doesn't look like it. Oscar looked like he was feeling the weight, maybe feeling the age. He looked not like himself tonight.
He wasn't fluid. He said he was complaining he couldn't move. I think he'd be the first one to admit he didn't do the things he wanted to do. I'm watching some European television over here in front of us, and the people are just mad as hornets.
They're very angry. I want to hear what De La Hoya has to say.
Congratulations, Oscar, but you don't look very elated about this.
Everything went wrong tonight. Everything. Everything went out. I mean, what can I do? What can I say?
What do you mean by everything?
I trained as hard as I can. We did everything perfect, sparring with big guys, but I stepped in the ring and boom, nothing.
Was this guy quicker than a normal big guy would be?
He's an ordinary fighter. I mean, he's a world champion, and he's young and he's hungry, and I give him all the respect in the world, But I know in my heart I can do better. I mean, people have seen me better. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was.
His jab certainly seemed to be effective.
Yeah, he had a wonderful jab. But I just couldn't. I didn't pick it off the way we were doing in the gym. I didn't move my head.
When you came out here and it looked like you were going to try to intimidate him, send him a message, maybe even stop him in the early rounds, was that your intention?
I was hoping. I mean, every time you hope for a knockout, it sometimes doesn't come. That's the way fighters, think sometimes. Well, I'm going to knock him out in the first round, but he's a tough cookie. What can I say? I mean, he had his hands real high. I hit him with a lot of body shots. He took them well, but what I'm very disappointed at is my performance. I mean, I know I can do a lot better.
If you're disappointed with your performance, do you still want to go through with fighting Bernard Hopkins in the fall?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm all about challenges, and I'll be very happy and satisfied tomorrow, but right now I just feel disappointed because my strategy didn't come out.
All right, let's bring Bernard Hopkins in. Bernard, you spent anxious moments watching this fight. What did you see about Oscar in there against a young guy that nobody knew about.
Well, first I'd like to congratulate Oscar and Floyd, and he showed that he can pull it out in the last couple of rounds. He didn't fade the 11th and the 12th, and he pulled it out, and I think that he showed championship heart. But he fought a big guy. Sturm ain't come here from Germany to lay down, and I guess everybody's seen that. And you know, but I think Oscar pulled it off with the championship rounds where everybody was expecting him maybe to
How
fade.
nervous were you about before they announced the result?
Well, my blood pressure went up slightly, but I'm confident, you know, that De La Hoya in the last 3 rounds pulled it out with combinations.
Let me ask you this, Oscar. A lot of fans are unhappy here about it. Do you feel that perhaps this was a make-up decision for you? A lot of people thought you beat Shane Mosley, and a lot of people here thought that maybe you didn't win this fight. Were you nervous about it? Did you think you won the fight?
Well, you know what? It's funny because his jab was dictating the pace in the first few rounds, and he has a great jab. He had a really good jab, but like I said, my performance wasn't at par, and I'm disappointed at my performance. But I felt I did pull out the last rounds the way you're supposed to, but it was a very close fight. Let's put it that way.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Thank you again, champ.
Thanks.
Jim?
Well, I've heard that same interview when he's lost, Rich, and you know, I don't. He didn't tell us why nothing was working tonight. I think it might have been that jab. Maybe I know that Oscar has trouble training for these lesser fighters or lesser-known fighters, but I'm sure there's a disappointed fighter from Germany that's going to be talking to Larry Merchant in just a minute. But Oscar's got some doubt in his heart now. And if you have any doubt when you're going against Bernard, the executioner, he may get knocked out.
Well, I think he had doubt that was growing during the fight. We heard him say in Spanish, he's beating me. We heard him later saying, I can't move. You know, he was wondering himself.
Let's go to Larry Merchant.
I can say, I know Oscar is a big name here, the biggest in the business. I know Oscar is a great champion. But I think tonight, everybody, the whole world here in the arena, on the TV, on HBO, everybody see who's a better fighter, who's a better puncher. And I think when the people from HBO say, I win this fight, everybody can say, I win this fight.
Did you see right away that he was vulnerable, that you were bigger than him, and that he couldn't handle your jab?
Oh, everybody knows I have a fast jab. Oscar has a fast jab too. He has great combinations. But I think my double was very good. I was a tougher fighter. I was a smarter fighter tonight. Oscar think I'm 25, I'm from Germany. When I come here, I'm under press. I said it before in the press conference. I'm not under press because Oscar is a name. He needs a fight with Bernard. And so, but I accept it.
So you came here knowing or feeling that if it was a close fight, it would be very hard for you to get a decision because of him and Bernard Hopkins' plans for the fall.
I know. I think all the box fans here in the States want to see the fight. Bernard with Oscar, the pay-per-view, television want to see. It's a question of the money. But I think, I say it again, I was a better fighter. I win this fight. And when Oscar loves sport, how he say, and he give me a rematch. But when Oscar loves money, he fight Bernard, leave the ring, and come never back.
So you don't think he will ever want any part of you again?
I think so, because everybody sees the European style, the American style is different. You see tonight, the European guys are very, very strong guys.
You think that perhaps if Hopkins would beat him in the fall, that he would fight you then?
I don't know. What makes Bernard and Hopkins this is a true champion way, and I want to be a true champion. I fight everybody. I want to fight the best. I want to beat the best. And when opponents say, you want to fight with me? I fight every time, anywhere. I come here back with Oscar. The same judges, the same rings, the same arena. Every time, every time.
Thank you. You made a terrific impression on all of us. You fought a great fight. We hope to see you again.
Yes, thank you. Tonight, I teach many people for respect, many respect for me.
Jim?
Boy, is that ever true? That is really true. He'll get big-time respect from here on in. I don't think that was a robbery. I think it was a very close fight.
I'd like to see him fight other top competition to find out what he's really made of. He talked about referring to the European style and the American style. I think what swayed this by a couple of points was Oscar's style and his flurries. He racked up when I saw punch stats, and I don't know what HBO had on the other side. I mean, Sturm was racking up punches and punches and punches, but you know, it didn't win him the fight. He's got to do a little bit more than that, and he deserves to pat himself on the back tonight. Oscar deserves to be down on himself for disappointing himself mostly, and he also has to be concerned about what he's going to be in the ring against Bernard Hopkins. Oscar didn't look fluid tonight. Nope. Didn't have his footwork. He said he picked off jab after jab in the gym and got in there and got nailed by it every time. And I just don't think he knew what to do against the best jab he's ever seen.
Yeah, he was clearly disappointed. And, you know, I have some question marks in my mind, although I don't think that the decision was that out of line. There were fans booing here, and I know the German contingent that was behind Felix Sturm in his corner was just livid, and they were really objecting to the decision. But again, as I mentioned in that last round, this was going to be one of those fights where we came down to the last minute, and we came down to the decision, and it was going to be a point or two either way, just like all those other close decisions with De La Hoya, Whitaker, Corte, Trinidad, Shane Mosley, all decided by 1 or 2 points at the end. So, the controversy continues, and I think Oscar, I don't know, he'll do a little soul searching after this one.
Well, he's committed to the fight September, but in order to beat Bernard Hopkins, he will have to rededicate himself to the hardest training camp he's ever had just to have, in my opinion, a chance, and he knows that. And after watching this fight tonight, you were talking about how the odds were 8-5 Hopkins. I'd run out there pretty quick if I was you, because they're going to go to 3 and maybe 4. I'm telling you, because there's a 10-1 underdog tonight who thinks he won this fight, and his name is Felix Sturm.
And he got respect. He came here looking for a win and respect. He got a close loss, but definitely earned everyone's respect. And I'll tell you, he's a very skilled fighter. He's a good fighter.
Well, he's a very confident fighter and knows what he can do. And he's got a right to be upset, but he's not. I don't think he's going to get he's not going to get a De La Hoya rematch, but he's going to have to find good competition. We'll find out in the long run how good he really is. He might be, in the long run, it might turn out to be a pretty good win for Oscar if this guy comes over here, and starts winning, beating a bunch of great fighters.
Well, I think
the left-handed style wasn't good, though.
I think what's disappointing for Oscar, and maybe he senses in himself, is maybe it's beginning to get away from him. He's 31 now, and he wasn't the same fighter tonight that he has been in the past.
All right, well, that's going to do it from here. A very interesting night, as always, and an excellent fight card here on Top Rank. There is the Hispanic